Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be having a go Gerry Dune in this carving, and what we're going to do is be carving his tail a little bit thinner to a size that when I do add the sections onto it, that comes up like that, and whatever goes over here somewhere. It's all as per the rest of this carving. I'm trying to get a percentage thing on this carving of the boy, but I think sometimes I get a bit overboard here. It's a little bit big, but I've run out of material a little bit in there. I just have to be very careful as I take it away, but you never know. It could, although my thickness seems to be okay, I still got to watch it, because I can't put a gauge in there to check the thickness up here now. I've blocked out the back window, you probably can see that. It's a little bit rough, but it's better than the light streaming in and all that, so we've got a little bit of light from this window over here, and you can see a bit of light coming onto my face there. That's enough to have a perfect setup of watching me when you should be watching the carving, what I'm doing with the chisel. We'll try and improve that a little bit. So what I'm going to do today, I'll get myself a chisel. And we're going to start trying to... No, it's not quite the one to use, the rounding chisel. I like this chisel. I like the chisel very much, but definitely not the one for that job. We'll try this one. I might go with a straight one. Put that over there. I touched these up pretty good the other day, so let's see how they go. If you try and take a deep amount of material off, you're going to get a problem. Let's see if I can get you closer. Just hang on. Okay, here we go. As I was saying, remove wood. The smaller the cut, the longer the chisel lasts. So if you were to do this, so I start down here, I'm trying to take off a 1/16 of an inch. You don't want to do that. Just take off a little bit. Look, it might take 4 or 5 cuts to get down to where I originally started, but your chisel's nice and sharp, your hands are not aching, and I tell you, it's good therapy for those with arthritis in their hands. Keeps your hands very, very loose, and sometimes I do get a flare up and I might have to take some tablets to take the pain away, but that's because I start pushing myself a little bit too hard with the hand tools. You get a little bit too much there. That way you're not going to damage anything, and you've got plenty of time to think about what you're doing. You can see that big chip that I took out there by taking too much, and it's just about gone down to the line. Don't know if you can see that, it's just about gone down the line. So whoa, and it's a natural thing that we all go in with a big chisel and trying to take too much out at once. If you turn your chisel over like this too, that stops it digging in. This vlog is about the carving of Gerry Dune, but at the same time I'm just passing on a little bit to use guy who like to do a bit of carving, but just don't have the know-how. Maybe that's the word. Maybe that word's too strong. You have an idea, but not quite sure how to finesse it a little bit. Well, as I said in the beginning, I know nothing about carving, and I'm giving it a go. Now we're just walking away. Look, that line is reduced by a fair bit. I start off the easier spot, of course, but that's all right. And you've got to work with the grain or follow the grain. If the grain wants to go one way, because wood is not going to be running all the same way, there's only a few trees in this world that'll do that. I guarantee you that these woods here, even jacaranda, the grain's got a mind of its own, like it's got its own brain. See the slicing action of the chisel? You start up there and then you work your way back. Okay, keeping it nice and level, because you want to keep the shape. I've got that shape there for a reason. I can do this with a rasp if I want to, and I probably will do it around this area here, because it is pretty hard to do there, and because some of my fingers are the way they are, that I will probably use the rasps, which is no crime. I mean, you're still carving. In some places I have with about 8mm. Around this side I'm a little bit out of centre. I like to try and keep things in centre on my carve. That way you don't run into too many problems. Of course you can get a little bit of a wave in your tail and all this. I don't know if I've shown you guys what I am going to do. With the tail, this is my plan. The first section of the tail comes out probably about 100mm, and it's fairly round and it's fairly straight. Might be a little bit oblong shape on the bottom part here, and then it flares out at the back and then comes up and round. Just one thing I like to mention, when you're carving animals, it is very hard to get a good idea how that animal looks to perfection. And as I'm finding out with Gerry Dune, just to get him to hold that pose that I'm trying to do this carving by, it's just practically impossible. So what you got to do is sort of get a combination of ideas, what he looks like, and you come the 3D model of that carve, and you got to be able to look at the shape of things, make sure that it's looking correct and all this, like this there, if I start taking too much here, I'm going to get a bump here. So what I've got to do is just keep running my eyes down, checking that I'm getting the shape right, and following it all the way around, just like that. Follow it all the way around with my eyes. That's the only thing I do. And you'll surprise yourself. Okay, we'll just keep on plugging away. Interesting thing, if I can do this, because I'm going to do, oh yeah, I do it here. I don't think you can see it. That's the European way of making hair or fur. And it's quite a quick way of doing things. I'll just get something to clean that up and I'll give you a closer look. That's a low scourer they use for cleaning floors. See if we can move this over. Not having much luck here. Way. You sort of get an idea that's his fur there anyway. Yeah. Really, it's not a good example. Right, we'll forget that. So that side movement of the chisel, the edge in good condition. Just sort of giving you an idea that you're running with the against the grain, so you get some tearing experience. So that's tearing too, again, because as you can see, I'm just scraping over the top of it very gently. Then when I go that way, it seems to be okay. I remember I was talking about a crazy mind of its own. We must got to take that into account all the time. Beauty having a nice sharp chisel. You got more control over a sharp chisel than you have a blunt one. You're shuffling across the surface like that. If you have a blunt chisel, it'll tend to tear up. Right, just looking at this point here where I've been working, I've been taking that all down there. I've removed about 3.5 mil all the way from there around to there without even blinking an eyelid. It'd probably take me half an hour or so to do that. But I tell you what, I don't have to worry about filling in where the wood's lifted up or anything like that. I've got around there nicely. Okay, I'll give you a spell now. So I asked the question, how am I going to do that section round there? You don't just get one big piece of wood and start carving it all up. What I'm going to do is do like pineapple pieces. And of course I'm going to work it out on the radius that I'm going to work on. So I work out on a diagram, and then I will work out what thickness at the shallow end, or where the inside radius is, to the outside radius. So it's going to be thicker on the outside and thinner on the inside. And I'm going to make these pineapple shapes that go across. And that way I will end up with a pretty good idea of the shape of or how his tail's going to be. Now in that, incorporating in that tail, I am going to have different coloured woods. I'm going to have, as you see on the inside radius of his tail is a dark colour. It's a darker, it'll be a lilac colour. So when you put some polish on the lilac, it goes dark. It'll go dark, okay? So when it comes around here, okay, it's going to be dark on the inside of the radius until it gets up near the top, where he's got a white, nice, lovely little white tip. A nice little white tip about that long. It comes out to a nice shape, which is great, you know. But just up here somewhere, there's a black line that goes around his tail. And of course I've found how I'm going to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some of that sawdust that I used the other day to fill in and around that leg. And I'm going to put that on, because that dries black. And that's the colour of his tail. Now with his tail on the inside here, especially on this first section here, he's got a lot of black little markings. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a little bit of hyrites or whatever they do, you know, burning with a hot rod, and I'm going to put lines in there. And of course that they will be in conjunction with the line or the run of the fur on his tail that I'll inscribe in there. So there's a lot of work just to make that tail look real. And I'm looking forward, because it's a challenge. But before I do that, I've got to make sure that the rest of this carving has all the fur marked on it. So I'm a long way to doing the tail, but I just thought today, just clean up this section around here, just to tidy it up a little bit. It's just another job I don't have to worry about, and I can do that now. Just in reference to this, guys, you probably can make out that this piece on top here, I added. Okay, I added to there because his shape when he comes down there, it was a little bit lacking, and so I glued this piece of wood. And the glue I use, I can't really tell you, I'm not advertising. It's not those PVA wood glues, it's something I think much better. And there's other ones that they say you should use and all this, but this one I use, it is super. And one of the things about gluing is that you don't see any marks of the glue in the wood, and you have to look hard to see that there. All these other marks here, all these other marks here, there will be a line. You probably will see a line because they are pretty big and all this, but because I'm putting the fur over, they will virtually disappear. So your eye will distract from those marks, and you'll follow the fur patterns, hopefully. Well, please be good and follow the marks. Thank you. Let's keep going. Incidentally, you probably do things what I said about 5 minutes ago, which is totally different. Because it all depends on what area you're carving to how you carve that area. Like down here, I'm starting from the bottom and working up, whereas up here I was working from the top going down. So all these things you've got to take into account when you do carving. But I'm just saying basically that's what I'm doing up here. Carving is not made up of many laws. The best way to approach it is just carve it and you will do well. The more experience you get, just whittling away a piece of wood, the more you learn how to manage to carve wood nicely. I don't know what this one's going to turn out. To me it'll be okay, but I could have done better. There's everything I do I can do better because I don't have the experience as what I do. But people go to classes to do all this stuff. I don't. I've just been carving all my life, whittling in pieces of wood all my life. And I was speaking to my father the other day about that, and he said, yes, you buggers. Always in my workshop, but oh well. And I used to love watching him making his beehives, just sitting on an empty beehive and watching him using the machine and one single cylinder popper machine or whatever, they hit and miss machines or whatever they were, and big long belt on it and off for to go and buzzers going everywhere, and yeah, it's and he's still got that machine, and I hope to get hold of that and renew it and pass it on through someone who's interested in my immediate family, so it stays with us always. And just like my gear, I will do the same with that. I just hope that members of my immediate family do take on this art of playing with wood. It's an art, all right. It keeps you out of trouble, I guarantee you that. But first of all, you've got to have time. In retirement, you do have time. And most of all is tons of patience. So I've rattled on enough here. I'm going to let you watch me for a while, and then we'll just see what it looks like at the end. Okay, as you can see, I've got his tail looking a little bit better. I've got to find out what his real size. It still looks a little bit big at the base, but you know, we're fiddling around, and I don't mind. I might have just follow that out a little bit. Yeah, so there you are. And of course, these 4 screws, I think I've told you, that's what's going to join the rest of the tail on. Okay.